So Steve, how did you get involved in the crazy game that is boxing promotion?
To be honest with you, I was always a fan of boxing, and then I was in the pub one day when Steve the Foster Viking come in, and I think I just watched him the week before fighting the G-Mex on one of Nigel Benn's undercard, and he'd been invited to go to Tenerife sparring Nigel Benn, but they wasn't paying for his coach at the time, Billy Graham. So I just said, look, I'll pay for Billy to go over, and from that I started sponsoring Steve, and then Steve used to take me to the weigh-ins, and then I got to know a few of the boxers, and they weren't fighting regularly and training in the gym all the time, so me and Steve said, look, we'll put a show on. So that's basically how we started on. We put a show on at the Willows in Salford, got a few of the kids out fighting. So I had my promoter's licence, and then a few of them said to me, will you manage me? And that's what happened, and then it's just spiralled out of control since then, yeah.
Did you have like a job whilst you were doing it, or like before a business?
Well, I've still got a job, yeah. I mean, I've got an engineering supplies business that's been going 34 years, so obviously I've been doing this for 34 years, and 6 years before that I was doing the same but working for someone else. So he started off as like a sponsorship and then just helping out, and then because we did well helping the kids out, it's got really big, and now I kind of divide my time between the two. On the promoting side, really and truthfully, you've just got to put a show on and get the fighters work, and because you're managing them, it means you want the fighters to win as well, because you're trying to build a career up for the lads. So what we class as is small hall shows, even though I've done a few TV shows, we've got to get them wins and build them up so that eventually they can fight for titles and fight on TV and earn enough money to have a career out of it. Because obviously fighting on the small hall shows, when I'm doing the promotion, you know, I go into it with the knowledge that I'm probably going to lose money, but my aim is to break even and hopefully even make a bit more money. But if you make money, it's just put on one side for the next show, which is going to be a loss. So small hall promoting is a hard game. The management side's a bit different. You know, you're building the kids up, and the idea is once you get them on the TV shows, you take a management commission off that. And obviously from my point of view, that's been ploughed back into doing the shows to regenerate other kids.
There's a lot of struggles. It's well known that there's a lot of struggles in making these shows. What struggles do you occur on like a daily basis?
On a daily basis, I mean, on every show, the card collapses, and you know, I've talked to many people, because you start thinking it's yourself, but it's not yourself. It happens on everyone's shows, and not just the small hall shows. It happens on the TV shows. You know, by the time the start of the show to when you've done the show, the bill's probably changed 2 or 3 times. You know, with opponents pulling out, even with the own kids getting injured and pulling out. You know, so they're the big stressful things that, you know, the fights that you was hoping to put on very rarely follow through on them all. Yeah. Last year I did 17, which is an average year for me, so 20 years, you've got to be saying I've done at least 300 plus on my own, plus what I've helped out co-promoting with the likes of Frank Maloney when we was doing the Sky shows together.
What do you think the secret is to your success then?
I think the secret to most people's success is hard work, and you know, like the boxers have got to be determined and work hard to be a successful boxer. You've got to do that in the promoting as well. You've got to be determined, and you've got to work hard.
Is it difficult to promote a boxer from like a debut to like build them to what they are?
It is difficult because not many people do it, and like the promotion business, everyone thinks it's easy. I mean, the number of people I've seen come in and they're going to do this and going to do that, and then within 3-4 years they've gone. You know what I mean? And that's because they think they're going to make a load of money and they think it's easy, and you just put a show on and people turn up. It doesn't work like that. It's very, very difficult. The question about bringing a lad through, it's down to the boxer really, because he's got to be hard working and determined and available all the time, and eventually it is his ability that means that he can go from the lower level to the higher level. So if you've not got the ability and the strength and determination to learn and improve, you're not going to get to the top level.
Well, let's say that ability, is it a lot about ticket selling as well? Does he have to be a big ticket seller to help him?
Well, the truth is, and it's not just on my shows, on the TV shows, if Frank or Eddie's come to Manchester and they put an undercard on, they don't phone up and want the best fighters, they want the best ticket sellers, because they've already put their card together for the TV. So the undercard, they want to sell tickets and generate some income for what they're losing on the other fights. And from my point of view, you know, I need the ticket sellers because I've got no other source of income. You know, I mean, I've got no TV, I've got no sponsors, so I need ticket sellers to put the money in to pay the bills. I mean, people don't understand how much a small hall show puts together, but by the time you pay the doctors, and people very rarely believe it when I tell them, but you know, my last show had 4 doctors on £600 each, so that was £2,400 just gone on the board doctors. Then you've got your paramedics, then you've got your ring, then you've got your officials, then you've got your security, then you've got your venue hire, then you've got your lighting to put in, then you've got your filming to put in. You know, you're talking between £8,000 and £12,000 to put a show together before you paid the boxers. So when your boxers are selling tickets and they think they've done well to cover their opponent and to cover themselves, which they have done well, to be fair, because it's not easy selling the tickets, it ain't good enough for the likes of me who sat there with all those overheads to pay as well.
So financially, it's not, you're not there to make money, are you? You're there because you love the sport and you're helping the kids.
Do you know what? Yeah, I must love the sport to keep doing it. I do enjoy helping the kids. You know, like when you see Terry Flanagan and Josh Waddington come from where they've come and end up being world champions and earning good money, you do get a buzz that you was a part of that. Obviously, like I said before, if they're not willing to work hard and improve, they'll never get to that level. So the majority is about them. But I like to think, you know, with the support of me, I've helped them get there, and you do get a buzz out of that, yeah. So now, because I'm doing so many shows and I've got people working for me on the boxing, we used to do it ourselves and a few mates help out. I mean, I've got to try and generate some income from the events, but it's proving difficult. Yeah.
Like you say, you've been in the business over 20 years. Has it got easier as it's gone on, like financially and?
No, it's got harder, if anything. I mean, the benefit, or the bonus for me is that because I have got some champions, and as a manager I take a commission from them, I can plough that back into the losses on the boxing shows instead of what I've done for years, which is take the losses out of my own business and sponsor it. Yeah.
I've heard you speak about the past about educating fighters. As soon as you're with them, you educate them, so they don't end up on what seems like a boxing treadmill of fighters that have gone down and like financially lost out. How important is it to keep that education going for your fighter?
Well, the first thing I do when a fighter comes to see me and wants to turn professional is tell them how hard it is. And over the last few years, I've been showing them, you know, the figures on the shows as well, so they can understand. Quite a few of them understand and get it. Others, you think they get it, but you know, when it comes to the shows, they've not got it. But you know, I like to do some shows when I've got kids who generate to the top of the bill and co-promote with them and to say, look, you're going to get X amount wages, and then you can have a percentage of the show, and it's good for them, and it's great to see them changing. You know, like sometimes you've got to say to a kid, look, you can't really fight this show because you've not sold any tickets and the show's not done well, and they're going, you bastard, you can't do that. And then when you're doing it with a boxer, they say, throw him off the show, he's no good to us, he's losing his money. So you know, they start to get it then, and that's good. And I like the boxer to understand that it's not them just going through the pain, we go through the pain as well. So I think it is a team effort, and they've got to understand that, you know, the trainers are part of the team as well, and you know, the trainers get 10% of what a boxer earns. Yeah, they're there for the 8-week camp for them as well, you know. So it's tough for the trainers, it's tough for the boxers, and it's tough for the promoters as well.
For you as a business, British boxing's on a boom, more professionals than we've ever seen. Is that helpful for you?
It should be, but it's proving not to be. You know, like we thought with the more TV shows, you get more opportunities for your lads. But at the moment in time, it's not, because they're recycling the same old faces on the TVs. But I think they'll soon get wind of that. And with Eddie in America now, and he's taking kids over to America, that's going to leave gaps for new stars to come through. So I'm hoping that the kids we've built into like 10-0 and in a position now to fight for titles will get them opportunities. Is a lot easier. So on a TV scale, it's not yet, but I can see it happening and helping. As in the more boxers, unfortunately, it's not, no, because there's not the journeymen, and you know, the opponents that we need coming through. They're all coming through and wanting to fight on their own side, and it's making it even harder to match. And I'm being perfectly honest, there's a lot of boxers turning over now from the white collar. They're just not good enough to be professional boxers, so that makes it hard as well.
You talk about journeyman there. How hard is it to match? Presume you do the matchmaker.
Well, I've got a matchmaker myself who does it for a kid called John Pegg in Birmingham. He's been probably doing it for me for the last 10 years now, and John has a lot of boxers himself, and that's his job, boxing, so he's at it all the time, you know what I mean, 7 days a week. So, you know, John's a very good matchmaker, a lot of contacts, but, you know, things go wrong and it's tough. So, you know, most shows we've still got to fly foreigners in, which makes it even more expensive.
Is it tough to match a journeyman with, like, say you've got a rising star? Is it hard to find a journeyman that's suitable for them?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking before about, you know, turning someone who's just started as a pro into a champion. I mean, the big secret is the right matches, and it is difficult. And the good kids want to fight good kids straight away, which, you know, it isn't right for them. They've got to learn the trade and learn different tricks. So, you know, it is difficult because there's so many people wanting those same journeymen. But you know, we've managed to be successful up to now, and I think we'll continue to be.
How good do you think him and Frank Warren have been in promoting British boxing recently?
Different, haven't they? I mean, Eddie obviously walked into a deal which was exclusive with Sky, which made it, should we say, easy for him. But the way he's developed it, you've got to give him great kudos for it, you know what I mean? Because he is the catalyst for bringing the boxing to the level it is now. So, I mean, all props to Eddie. The boxing is booming now, and it's down to him and the success he's done. Obviously, he got it a little bit easier than the normal people because he had an exclusive deal with Sky, but he still had to go and change the platform of the boxing, and, you know, take it out of small halls. I mean, I was talking to him the other day. I did Matthew Macklin against Jamie Moore, which is one of the best fights probably in the last 50 years in boxing, if not longer, and it was done at the George Carnell Centre down the road, 1,400 people. Now you'd laugh at that now. I mean, that'd fill the MEN Arena now. I mean, people would be wanting there to see it. So that's the level he's took it from to the level it is now. So he's done great. With Frank, he's had the difficult time where he had to set his own Box Nation, you know, to carry on promoting, and it was very, very difficult for him. And you've got to give him the props for sticking in it and doing it. And then from that, he's got the BT deal, which he's only had probably for 18 months now, and he's starting to try and challenge Eddie again, which is good. So over the last few years, you know, what Frank's had to do, probably Eddie couldn't do. What's Eddie had to do, sorry, what Eddie's done, probably Frank couldn't have done, you know. But they've both done well doing what they're doing now, and it's great to see him competing more so on an even level. Yeah,
we talk about competition, but do you think it could be a bad sign, like we saw on the 22nd of December, 2 pay-per-views clashing on the same day?
Well,
ideal for fans.
I mean, that was bad, but it was bad for the boxers earning, it was bad for the promoters earning, and from what I'm gathering now, the results were that it was bad for the TV as well. So I don't think that'll ever happen again now. I think it was a stupid thing to have been done, and the proof's been in the pudding now that everyone knows it was a stupid thing to do. So I can't see that happening again.
You talk about your champions that you've had, obviously Terry Flanagan and Josh Warrington. What's that feeling like when you bring a fighter from a debut to become like a champion or a champion?
It's very satisfying, to be honest with you. You know, and you feel a lot of pride in what you've done, and you know, there's times where Terry could have given and I could have given, and you've not done. And the same with Josh. You know, he's a great example. He was still working as a dental technician when he was European champion. Yeah, you get kids who are four-rounders and say they can't work. You know, so I think if you look at Josh, and if you look at Terry, where he was the scaffolder till he was a British champion, I think a lot of people should admire what they've done, and a lot of the boxers should follow what they've done as well, because they've got there by hard work and determination. They weren't GB superstars that have signed on to a signing on fee and a promotional deal where they're guaranteed 6 fights a year on TV and good money. You know, that they've done it the hard way, and they've got to rise to the top. So all props to those two kids. I know how hard they've worked and what they've done for it, and both nice kids, and couldn't deserve it any better.
Since seeing Terry, did you always think you had the potential to become a world champion?
No, to be honest with you, Terry, and we laugh about it now, it was like the ugly duckling just turned into the white swan, but that's what I keep saying about hard work. You know, when he turned over professional, he had a terrible amateur record, and I told him to have another year, but he said no, I'm turning over pro, even if it's not with you, I'm going to turn over pro. So we took Terry on. We took a lot of time with him, and he's probably been the most improved fighter that I've ever seen, and that's become through hard work and going out and sparring people. You know, he was sparring Michael Jennings, Scott Quid, Steve Bell, you know, from early doors, and then going up to Scotland and sparring Ricky Burns and improving by fighting better people. So, you know, he's shown a great determination to improve, which not many people would do.
Just moving on to Jamie Moore as well. You've been involved with him since he was the age of 90, is that right? Around about? I
don't know if he was 19. I think he might have been 20 when he turned over pro. But yeah, I managed Jamie from his first pro fight, which was at the Bowlers on a Frank Warren show, till his last fight at the MEN. Yeah.
How good a fighter do you think he was, and do you think he was unlucky never to become a world champion?
Jamie was a top fighter, you know, and in the era he was a bit unlucky, you know. Like if he was fighting now, he would 100% be a world champion, because there's more opportunities. I mean, with Jamie, a couple of things really and truthfully. We probably kept him at British level a bit too long, but at the time, European champions were absolutely fantastic, you know. So it was a question of, well, that step up was probably not worth taking, because eventually they were and will be and were world champions. So maybe we should have took a risk at European level, because in those days you did do the traditional British, Commonwealth, European, world, whereas now a lot of people are not even doing the British, they're going for the WBO, the Europeans, getting the rankings, the internationals moving up, and then fighting for world titles. So, you know, you miss out a lot out there. And as I'm saying, if Jamie was in this era now, he'd have been a world champion, 100%, not a doubt. And the other thing that held him back, he had a few weight issues, and you know, he got a final eliminator against Ryan Rose, which was doing well till he run out of gas, and that was a weight issue.
You look at him now as a trainer. I think he won the trainer of the year recently.
Yeah.
How good's he doing then?
Yeah, he's doing very well, you know, but like the boxing, it's ups and downs with the training, isn't it? You know, he won the coach year, everything was flying for him, and then Canelo comes along and ruins Rocky. Martin Murray gets beat and he's finished, and my lad Josh Warrington's beat Carl Frampton, so he's had a little bad run, but you know, there's nothing to show that they're going to come back and have a good run, and that's what I always say, is that when you're having a good run at boxing, put your ball protector on, because they're kicking and nuts coming, and that's just happened to Jamie. But you know, he'll turn around and have successes again.
Yeah, definitely back. You mentioned Warrington there, Josh Warrington. But what's your role in his career and for him to achieve World Glory?
My role, I'm Josh's manager, and early on in his career, I was promoting him on the small hall shows because he didn't have a TV deal anyway, and I think people forget, they just think he was a big ticket seller and everything's opened up because he's a big ticket seller, and that's why people underestimated him, because they did think that. Well, he's not. He's a very determined and skillful and clever fighter, and my role with him developing was fighting on my shows, and then we'd do shows together without TV where Josh was a co-promoter with me, and we had successes with that, and then he went away to win an English title for £3,000. He went in the home corner, won the English title, and we were laughing about it the other day, and they were saying, I remember buying a laptop with that money, and it was great. And then we went away in the away corner to win the Commonwealth against Sami Mamoon on the Hull show on Sky, and people forget that, you know what I mean? He's not had it easy. He's worked really hard, and the good thing about Josh is that with him working hard in the gym, it's made him a better fighter, and he's fought better every single fight, and he'll continue because he's got that desire and determination that you can't give people. It's inbred in him, and he don't want to lose, and that's probably his biggest asset.
We saw he's always been the underdog going into fights recently with Lee Selby and Frampton. What were your thoughts when he came out at Ellen Road? Did you think he was always going to win?
You know what? It was a timing thing with Selby, and Josh had to mature physically into a featherweight, which by then he had done, and we knew that there was weight issues with Selby, so the timing was right on that. Selby was just coming down and Josh was just coming up, and it was the right time, so I had full confidence in that fight, the same as I did in the Frampton fight.
You good mates with Jamie Moore and Josh Warrington. Were it hard to? No,
it wasn't hard at all, and I've said this many a times. At the end of the day, Jamie wanted Carl to win, and I wanted Josh to win, and it is a fight at the end of the day. It's business, it's a fight, and it wasn't hard at all, no.
What does the future hold for VIP promotions?
Well, we keep hoping we're going to get a TV day, and then we can see if we can promote at the level that the other people have done, but it seems to be all the London based that they get these, and it's a shame really, because I think I probably got the third best stable outside of Frank and Eddie in the country by a mile, and when you see people getting TV dates and we keep getting missed out, it upsets you a little bit, but you've got to realise what place you are and just keep battling on. So ideally we get a TV thing, and then we can see how good we can go and move the lads ourselves, rather than getting them to a certain level and then passing them on. But that's our place at the moment, and that's where we are. So I think it isn't going to change. We're still going to be the best small hall promoter in the country, and producing kids to go on to other people's TV shows.
Boxing promotion, is it like an addictive drug? Like you're always looking for that champion, you're always looking.
Well, I think we call it an illness really, because he's crazy. But you talk to Frank and you talk to Eddie, they have the same shit that I deal with, just at a higher level, and there's better businesses to be in, and my son's 24 now, and I've got him involved in the engineering business, and he's got a corners license and he helps out in there, but I keep telling him it's a shit business, you got to keep away from it.
Don't think he'll ever go into it.
Well, if he does, he'll go with me support and bless him, but I'd advise him not to. I've had a heart attack and 2 strokes, and it is all the shit you get in this boxing. It's not a nice business to be in, probably 90% of the time. But you get the highs and you get a lot of lows as well.
Finally, has it all been worth it?
in life you can't have any regrets, you know, and I've been fortunate that I'm in a position that I can choose what I want to do, because I've been successful in my engineering business. So I'd have to say it has been worth it, you know. Josh and Terry becoming world champions. How many other people in the world can say that? You know, there's not many. So yeah, I'd say it's been worth it. Would I do it again? I'm not too sure.